let's fix something really quick. The game is really loud. I'm going to put the volume down to, let's try 75%. It's still quite loud. I don't know if that's made much of a difference. Why is the volume not very effective on here? I want sound, not video. There we go, that should work. Maybe. Hope that's not too quiet. I can turn it up a little bit, I guess. I'll do 33. 33 seems reasonable. Here we go. I'd like to think that that works. So I don't know, if anybody watched last night, but, I played some F-Zero, and I apologize because I think I had the game up too loud so you couldn't hear me talking, and I was rambling on quite a bit. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You know what? I've decided I'm going to turn this back down. I don't know, man. The game's just really loud. If you look at the description I have on the video from last night, I mentioned that I have this dialed in pretty well for Overwatch, and apparently F-Zero is just a much louder game. 20% it is. Anyhow, I played a round of the Grand Prix, just beginner mode, which I'm gonna do again. And play with my good old Fire Stingray here. I'm gonna do Queen League, beginner again. Probably play this, and then once I get through this, if I'm still feeling up for it, I'll play some Overwatch. I do need to figure out that clicking. I didn't do that last night, or rather today. Whatever. If you didn't hear me or watch me on the stream last night, because I think maybe one person tuned in, I'm playing this because this is my favorite game of all time. And just as full disclosure, yeah, I am playing on an emulator, playing with a 360 controller. You'll notice that's why I sometimes go a little erratic when I go off the jumps, because the 360 has what I consider to be a pretty subpar D-pad. One of these days I'll feel comfortable with throwing down some dollars for maybe a Xbox One controller, but that day is not today. The 360 controller serves me pretty well for any controller-based games that I need. That said, F-Zero is my favoriteest game of all time. It really is. I've had this game since I was a child. And I do mean that. I did mention, yeah, I am playing a emulator right now, but I do actually have a Super Nintendo. It is the Super Nintendo that I got for Christmas. Well, my sister and I got it for Christmas, 1992. Kind of dates me there. I think I was 6 years old. Yeah, that would have, look at me failing at math here. I was 6 years old. So you now know that I'm pretty old. But this was one of the games that I got with it. It was a launch title, and I don't know what possessed my parents to get me this game. I don't know. Maybe they knew that I was into racing games, but I feel like at 6 years old, maybe I probably hadn't expressed, how into racing games I was. But I love them. I don't know if it holds true today, but for a good long while, racing games were my favorite genre of games. I just, especially amongst my friends growing up, I kind of just murdered everybody at things like, well, F-Zero. I mean, it's a little bit hard to murder people at F-Zero. It's not a multiplayer game. That's one thing I really wish F-Zero would have had as a feature, was the multiplayer. I know the later versions of the game, you know, X and GX, they had it, but the lack of multiplayer in the original really just makes me sad. Whoops, I botched that. Oh no, oh no. Okay, still got first, but man, what a terrible finish there. That said, going back to this, the point being here is that I do have a Super Nintendo. I do have a copy of F-Zero. It's the ones I've had for 25, going on 25 years now. They still work. The battery in the cartridge is dead. It's a bit of a problem. So I would like to play it on the original hardware. Of course, none of my records are saved there or anything, but it would work. I just don't have anything to capture the stream with. I think I have like a really old, you know, analog capture card somewhere, but I don't know where it is, and I don't know if it's got Windows 10 drivers or anything. I have the requisite adapters to convert. I think I have the adapters to convert AV to HDMI. I'll have to look into that. Maybe I don't. The point being is I don't have anything to capture with. I don't even have an HDMI capture card because I just don't tend to do that much console gaming. I think the newest console I have is a PS3. I don't know, did the Wii come out after the PS3? I forget. Well, it's either the Wii or the PS3. I do have a 360, a PS3, and a Wii, although, to be fair, it's not like I got those all when they came out. I got a PS3, like, oh crap, I just completely screwed up my racing here. I got the PS3 like a year ago. I bought it brand new for like $68. That's, man, I am just sloppy. And the Wii, when did I get the Wii? I've had that for a much longer time. I think I've had the Wii for maybe a decade. Let me think here. No, it had to have been like 2009, I think, that I got it. Something like that. It was a Christmas gift from my mother. I remember it distinctly because she was trying to get me the Wii and she was trying to get me Mario Kart Wii, and it took like the Wii she found. That was not a problem. Oh god, keep it together, Rick. There we go, still holding it together. Granted, I am playing on beginner mode, so you know it's not too high of a bar to go over. Anyhow, point being, I just don't do that much console gaming. I mean, I don't even have my TV hooked up currently. It sits behind my computer gear. I just used to use it as my main display and kind of got over that. So I just never really felt the need for having a capture card. I do want one now. I would love to have one. But this is a really long, elaborate, rambly way to tell you that I'm playing on an emulator and this is why. Oh, I botched this. Oh, I saved it. It seems a little, I don't know what I want to say, glitchy. A little bit choppy. I feel like the game should be running smoother. Anyone else that's like a big fan of that hard kick at the end of the tune there? I don't know why. I love it. Like, the rest of the tunes all had, like, nice beats. I mean, the music in F-Zero is just phenomenal. And if you heard me on the stream last night, I kind of ended up rambling, you know, about... Oh, I botched that. About how I feel like the later games, I think, missed that a bit. You know, I think the later games, the music was not quite so iconic as in the original F-Zero. Although I don't know if it's possible. I guess it is. I mean, it's got to be possible to still have iconic tunes. I just think that I feel like music became a little bit less a part of things. I don't know. I don't know how to properly articulate what I'm thinking here. Anyhow, point being, that hard kick right there, I love it. I don't think any of the other tunes have kicks like that. I mean, even this tune doesn't have it until the very end. And, you know, full disclosure, I do actually really enjoy my my hard dance music. Oh, Jesus. Sorry, guys. I'm not gonna lose a race. I just don't play like that. I have the lives to spare. I will get first. Dang, I just did the same thing. Again. You know what I always found a little bit of a bummer while playing this game, though? Is that you can jump in the air, and you can do this in later games, this is true. I don't know, I just don't think it's quite as much of the later games as I do the original. To me, the original is king, even though I'm kind of complaining about it a little bit. But you can't shove cars off the map, at least not that I've ever been able to see. Like, there's definitely been times where I've been in the air and I've pushed, like, you know, at least one of the 4 main cars off, and they just kind of float back on. And I'm sure there's balancing issues or whatever to deal with that, and whatever. But I always thought it'd be cool if you could incorporate that a little bit more into the game than what it was. I would love to know, though, like, why the music in the game, like, I feel like, you know, again, the music in the game kind of took on this, oh, crap. I need to be a lot more disciplined with when I hit my turbos there. And the music in this is like, it's vibrant, it's upbeat, it's very disco-y, groovy, one might say. And I feel like, at least in F-Zero X, again, I have to try out GX. You know, just to kind of give myself a reminder of what the music is like. But I feel like in X, at least, the music got... Hey, there we go, got my life back. I feel like the music got this, like, sort of, like, dark, edgy, but, like, try-hard, edgy sound to it. I don't know if I really liked that. Definitely didn't like F-Zero X as much as the original F-Zero. But I do have it. I just don't play it. So I guess I can go download a N64 emulator and the ROM and give it a go and see if maybe just my memory is just, you know, playing tricks on me. This is definitely one of my more preferred tunes from this soundtrack, although I do believe every tune in this game is outstanding. A little burnt out on Mute City, just because, you know, that's the one everyone thinks of when the game starts, you know, like when everyone's like F-Zero, like, oh yeah, Mute City, that's the jam, that's the F-Zero song. But I think there are better songs. Oh, I am on top of it today. That's cool. I'll try again. I got 3 lives. I can do this. What was I saying? Oh. I think Mute City and then even Big Blue. Now, I used to think, like, I don't know, Big Blue used to be my favorite song in F-Zero. I don't know. I loved it. It was the best. And I'm kind of just rehashing what I said in the stream from last night, but I feel like as I got older, I think I fell in love with Port Town more. Whiteland, you know, what we're in right now, is also a pretty good one. Firefield, if I remember correctly, also pretty cool tune. What were we at before? Red Canyon, is that the name of the track we were at before? I don't know why I'm blanking on this. I'm gonna drop the turbo on this one. You would think, having had this game for literally 25 years, that I would just know exactly what to do, but I'll be honest, it's been a big gap, you know? It's a little bit sad when I look back on it. I think sometime, I want to say late 90s, so I'm gonna pick an arbitrary year and say probably 97, maybe 98. I got a dog for Christmas one year, and I think it was like 97 or 98, I want to say. My dog chewed the power cord for my Nintendo. And being, you know, growing up in a family with not much money, things like buying new power cords for Super Nintendos, you know, in the late 90s when something we didn't do. It was only about 4-ish years ago, 5 years ago, that I got a new functional cord for my system. And I feel bad because it's totally like a knockoff cord. Oh god, I didn't want to do that. Sometimes I'm a little sketched out on how well it will work, but it does do the job. I just want to say that yes, I've had the game for 25 years, but I maybe had it, you know, I maybe had a functional Super Nintendo for maybe like 6 years, and then it was only about 4 or 5 years ago that I got a working power brick again. And there's just a lot of things in my life before that didn't really contribute to lots of game playing time. Although it's one of those things I look back on, you know, really look back on, and I remember, you know, like, okay, I grew up in a fairly, like, I don't want to say it was destitute. It was definitely on the poorer side of things. I lived in a pretty not so great town, and you know, we just didn't have a lot of money. We weren't starving, but you know, we weren't doing. Whoa! Blue Falcon, you are ruining my day. But you know, again, going back on that branch, you know, looking back on the things that I did have, like somehow I ended up with a PlayStation and the Nintendo 64 within a couple years of each other. I believe the 64 came first. That, I believe, was a birthday present, but I'd have to be double sure about that. And then at the PlayStation, a year or two after that, I think. It wasn't super long after the 64. Like, I had it pretty early in its life. I had the PlayStation early enough that I got Gran Turismo 1 when it was the only Gran Turismo on the market, because I remember I bought with my own money Gran Turismo 2 essentially when it came out, because I loved Gran Turismo so much. So I'm thinking I got a PlayStation probably in '98, so about the same time that my my Super Nintendo became non-functional, courtesy of my dog. And that was, you know, not counting the Wii that my mom bought me for Christmas 9 years ago? 8 years ago? Something like that? Not counting that, the PlayStation was the last console that my parents bought for me. I saved up my lunch money, counted quarters, mowed lawns, stuff like that, so I could have the money to buy a PlayStation 2. And upon getting the PS2, I gave away my 64 and my PlayStation to my sister and my cousin. And I pretty much became a PS2 only guy for a long time. Actually, no, wait, think about that. Hold on. I had the Dreamcast before I got the PS2. Yeah. So I got the Dreamcast, and that was one that... Dang it, I guess my mom did get that one for me too. Oh, but that one's a funny story. Let me tell you. That was not a... you know, my ma is being super gracious and buying me these game systems left and right. I had actually, for a long time, I was very anti-Dreamcast. I was a Sony fanboy. I wanted nothing but Sony game systems. All I cared about was a PlayStation 2. That was it. That's all I wanted. And when the Dreamcast came out, I was like telling my mom, telling everybody, I'm like, I know you guys know that I love game systems and all that. And it's like, I don't expect you to buy this for me. But if you have it on your mind to get me a Dreamcast, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't want it. Please don't buy one for me. Like, I tell my grandparents and my mother and my father this, because, you know, they're not on top of game system. They're just like, oh, new game system, cool. You know, and again, I didn't expect them to get it for me, but I just wanted to dispel that notion, you know, off, you know, ahead, you know, cut it off the pass, just to make sure it didn't happen. And so then, you know, Dreamcast comes out, $99.99, cool, whatever. I was all like, Dreamcast is crap, it's all about PS2, man. And then I was at, so it would have been the Christmas of 2001. Yeah, Christmas of 2001, because the PS2 came out in 2000, so it's, you know, it's the year after PS2 has launched. You know, Dreamcast has gotten its butt completely kicked. There's no hope, and Sega has discontinued it. So I go in, and this had to have been like November of 2001, something like that. And I had some money saved up to go Christmas shopping, buy some stuff for my mom and my sister and my pops and all that. And I'm checking out, you know, the games, checking out the games and all that, and I walk in the middle of the Best Buy. It's the middle of Best Buy in Indianapolis. Castleton, to be specific. It's kind of the area I grew up in. So I roll on in, and in the middle of the video game section, there is just a giant pile of Dreamcast boxes. It's like they just took their entire stock of Dreamcasts and made a big pile of them in the middle, and it's a sign hanging above it, and it said $50, comes with an extra controller, 3 free games. That is how much they were fire selling the whole thing. And I went in there, I was like, I have money. I'm going to buy this for myself. So I bought that. I picked up several games. Among them was Phantasy Star Online, which I got hopelessly addicted to my freshman year of high school. But I bought that. Bought the Dreamcast keyboard specifically because it was there. I thought it was a cool accessory. I bought the controllers. I bought memory cards. I think all told, I mean, I had a pile of Dreamcast games and accessories. I think the grand total was $98. Something like that. It was just under $100. And my mom, you know, reconvenes with me. Whatever, we go up to buy the things, and I'm, you know, about to pull out my money to pay for the $100 worth of Dreamcast stuff that I have, and Mom's like, hey, how about this? I was like, what? She's like, I'll pay for this. I was like, yeah? She was like, yeah, I'll pay for this. This is going to be your Christmas present. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah. I'll buy you all this as Merry Christmas. I was like, but I have to wait for Christmas, right? She's like, yeah, you can't touch this until Christmas. And I was like, it's kind of lame. She's like, I'm paying for this. And I was like, all right, cool. She's like, all right, but you have to act surprised. Don't let anyone else know. And so that was the year that my mom began to just, instead of trying to surprise me for Christmas, literally just said, just tell me what you want. I'll get it. You know, within reason. So that's how I ended up with the Dreamcast, which I still have. Still works. I'm so glad I didn't get rid of that thing. I need more games for it, though. All I have left is Crazy Taxi. Someone robbed my house years ago, took my games. So it's sad. That said, I'm done. I've played my round. I sucked it up. I died a couple of times. My stream looks like it's kind of failing over there for some reason. I don't know. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to come back and play some Overwatch. Thanks for tuning in.